Welcome to this section, Hackers of vsociety, Chapter 1. I am your host today. This is Nahuel. I'm security analyst, currently working for Vicarius. This is Ákos. He's a security researcher that also works for Vicarius. Ákos, you want to do some introduction? Say hi.
No, that's very comprehensive. Yes, I'm usually writing CV articles most of the time, and yeah, also reviewing some other submissions. But basically, that's all.
Yeah. He is also a good contributor to vsociety, so he really knows well the social. And of course, our guest here, Kamilló. Thank you very much for this opportunity, for being the first one to break the ice here in this section of interviews that we are doing. I know that you are from Hungary. I know that you are currently working for KPMG as a head of cyber lab. I know that you hold some such nice certifications as OSCP, OSWA. So yeah, that's just to prove that I did my homework. But can you tell me something about you? Yeah,
Okay.
go ahead.
Hi, my name is Camillo. Where should I start? I am a father. I have 4 kids. It is important. I am almost 40. I am the leader of the Hungarian Hacker Club in KPMG. And I am an offensive security researcher as well. And that's all.
I have a question because I saw it and I really got interested. What does it mean that you are currently the head of Cyber Lab?
There are 15 hackers in my group. We are focusing on pen testing and red teaming activities and every cybersecurity related tests, but not advisory related. So, and I am the leader of the technical parts and the leader of the team as well.
So you lead all these 15 hackers.
Yes.
Oh, that's so great. Well,
Hackers and pen testers as well.
open this. Okay. Well, Ákos here had some questions. You want to go ahead, Ákos?
Okay, sure. Thank you. So my first question is, when did you start your career in the cybersecurity industry?
Oh, it's a hard question. During the preparation, I was thinking when was the first time, and I have 2 stories, so you should choose one. I was around 10 years old, 11, something like that, when I started working on something that can be called hacking. And later, the other story is. So the first story is a childhood story. It is connected to the school, so it is a school story. But the second one is more personal because I hacked a DVD player around 14. That was my. But I didn't understand what is hacking at that time. I just need a DVD writer, so I can you can choose the story. Which one is more interesting?
It was in your blood. Well, I think we shouldn't go back to the previous lives, so just I pick the second one.
The second
So
one, okay.
you were
So
14.
the story is easy. I had not too much money, and at that time I need a DVD writer. It was a big thing, and these DVD writers are there were several devices, and these devices are sometimes DVD recorder, DVD writer, CD recorder, CD writer, and I have no DVD writer, and I really want that. That it was for me, it was important, mainly for gaming, and I, I I have no money for that, and I figured out the vendor has only one device, and the only difference is the firmware between the DVD writer and the CD writer part. And so I bought the device, and I flashed the other firmware to that device, and I have finally a DVD writer. But I didn't know that I can break the device at that time, so I just tried, and it was a big experiment, and it was my first big thing. And later I realized that how lucky was I. But at that time, it was awesome. I have a DVD player and a DVD writer as well, and I was able to play with it. That's
Nice
the
start.
story.
So this was your first hacking experience.
The second one, the first one is the school story.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
So
And,
you have always have like this hacker mindset, you know. But
Yes, but I didn't know that. So
yeah,
this
you
is the
didn't know.
interesting part. So I was a curious kid, and if something was interesting for me, I played with it. And there are funny stories about my journey. Especially my mom is she said it was a crazy journey, but now I am here. So and I am working in this area as well. So it is interesting because when I was a kid, I do not know what is hacking, and I even later when I went to the university, I started learning programming, operating systems, and so on. And when we learn something new, the hacking it was just a hobby. So even when I was a developer, I played at home, but I didn't know that it is a job. And later I realized that I am a hacker and I should do something else. And I skipped actually from my programming work.
So, but it is kind of related, right? To be curious, to have this like the mind of a child, to want to break things, to want to discover what inside. You have to have that mind when you are hacking, isn't that right? Like you have to put yourself into this zone where you have to try to understand what's behind.
Yes, it is true. So if you have a goal, for example, I really like computer games and I would like to win. So it is a goal. And if you are not able to win in the normal way because you are not good enough, then at some point you would like to do something. And I start with the game hacking, for example, just to become the number one of the of the leaderboard. So it was a it was a way how can I be on the top. And this is somehow my whole life it was a so every time when I look back, I realize that from now it is clear. But at that time it was a problem because I did always something strange or stupid or not accepted. I was not a good kid.
um yeah, what's the next question, Agos?
mhm, mhm. Okay. I know you are the leader or part of some other communities in Hungary. Could you just tell us a few words about that?
Mm-hmm. Uh, it's a relatively new story. I am relatively well known in Hungary, in especially in hacker groups
It's
and
true.
the community actually. And I realized that we do not have a good place where hackers can talk. It's a special Hungarian group. It's called Silent Row, and I am the leader of that too, or one of the first members. And the interesting part is learning. So it is a free community where everybody can join. It doesn't matter how good hacker you are, you can come. there are only a few rules, and it tries to become a hackerspace at some point. So my big plan is to create a new hackerspace in Hungary for Hungarian hackers, and I try to build this from scratch.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Okay. Next question, if we can move on.
Yeah, I have to relate it to what he's saying. I want to ask what suggestions or what are the approach that you give to someone he's just starting? Because I often get this question when I'm talking with a friend or when I get to get to know someone new. He asks me like, where do you start? Like, what do you hack? Are you and
I think
I
the most
always used to recommend Try Hack Me. I really like Try Hack Me, but I think that what's your approach?
I think the first thing, you should find something that is interesting enough for you to read and understand. So if you like Flipper Zero, then start with Flipper Zero. If you are interested in web programming, you should start with that. If you are interested in game hacking, then you should start with that. I think the most important, so it is a too big field. It's extremely big. And if you would like to understand all the whole aspects or whole parts of it, it's not easy. So it is easier if you start with something that is interesting, because if you start with a topic that is boring, then probably you will skip and do something else. So it is an important point. If you ask me what is the good platform to learn that, Try Hack Me and Hack the Box are two good possibilities, but there are others. The if I must choose, I choose Hack the Box. But maybe it is just because I start with Hack the Box earlier, so I like that platform more. But I don't know which one is better and why. To be honest, I skip these classrooms in Try Hack Me. Mm, I am focusing mainly on machines, on Hack the Box, and it's different. But I am not a starter, so it is not the same. If you are a new hacker, probably okay, something weird happening, but not mine. Okay, is the sun good at your place? Because I heard myself back.
Yeah, I think it's my microphone.
Okay,
Um,
sorry. So if you are a newbie, maybe Try Hack Me is more comfortable. Mm, and easier, but you should decide. I think it's best if you choose, if you try both of them. So if you try it for 1 month each, then you can choose which one is better for you.
yeah, I think even besides the platform is how you say like the most important thing is to find something that you find interesting, right? That's a great recommendation.
This is what I recommend, yes.
Ákos, go ahead.
Okay, next question. Kamilló, what do you consider your biggest achievements as a hacker?
It's unfortunately, a lot of my works are not public because I there are non-disclosure agreements, and I work for organizations that are not talking about what I found or what I did, and I have some great stories, but unfortunately I am not able to share them. So it is a problem. But I have some public works, and from them I think the force point related finding or red teaming story is the best, because then you can realize that how big the problem is, and it is funny. Force point is not interested in the topic, even if it is published, even if it is exploited at least 3 months, because I did that.
Uh, could you just tell us a few words, not a comprehensive explanation, but
Okay.
what to think about this?
Force point has a DLP solution. It is data leak prevention, and if this DLP solution is installed, then it is possible to execute code via email. So if you receive the email and if you are not careful enough and click, I am able to turn the DLP system against you, and I can execute code and I can use it against the target, even the network. So it is funny because it has the DLP solution has a built-in Python interpreter, and it has a lot of privileges. And with some tricks, I was able to restore the client, and I was able to break into others.
Wow, wow. So it's completely Hollywood-like.
Yeah, it is, and unfortunately, this or fortunately, this DLP solution is one of the best. So it is if you check the DLP market, you will see that ForcePoint is one of the leaders. There is another product. Sometimes that product is the leader, sometimes this one, but it is widely used, especially in Hungary. So it is a big catch. And I found that, and I was able to use it against the company during a red team engagement.
Mhm.
And it is. I also published on vsociety, so this is my first article, and if somebody's interested in, you can check it.
Oh,
Yeah,
very
but
nice.
I have seen some of your publication, if not all. I found one that was particularly interesting related to these red team activities. I saw one that you write about red team activity that you do in a company, and you kind of brought the whole process without mentioning the company. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, what article in particular.
Yes, I know what you are talking about, and of course, I am not able to say who was the company or who was the target because of these non-disclosure agreements, and it would be not ethical if I say it. So
No, but can
I
you
will definitely
give
not say it, but
details about how was the activity? Did you work alone on this? Because I saw it and I think that was
it was
not really easy.
preparing thing. It was a preparing thing. So I prepared for an engagement, and I realized that the target is using this software. I know that from open source intelligence. So actually, the information was available for public. So when I found that, I checked the software. I don't know it why I choose that, but I have a copy of the software, or at least one version, and I checked what it does, how it does, and how it works. And at the end, I found this Python interpreter and checked the documentation, and actually it was extremely strange, the sentences. So if you check the article, if, the original documentation contains some strange looking sentences, and I just start thinking how they do what they do, and I realized that something is not good. And when I found the Python interpreter after the install, I saw that it is restricted, but not in a good way. So a lot of files are there which should be not there, and it is an old interpreter. So even the interpreter itself is vulnerable. So it is funny. And when I found that, I started thinking, how can I use this? Because if you think from the red team perspective, and if you would like to attack the colleagues at the company or the target users, you should choose a software which is on everybody's machine. So if every machine contains the software, then your chances are better, even if it is restricted. So if you find something that is installed everywhere, then it is probably you should catch. This is the secret behind of the Microsoft Excel, Word, and these kind of software as well. So this is why they are good for attacking. And when I found that, I realized that there is a problem, and I made the whole thing and the whole concept alone. And later, when I was ready, we tried it during the engagement. So, and it was successful. it was funny. And I found another vulnerability, but unfortunately, the company found that before me. So Forcepoint has an internal pen testing team, and they found that vulnerability independently from me, and they fixed that. So there will be no CV or no notes about that, but it is a vulnerability. And if you are not updating your client or DLP client, then you are in trouble. In one way, it is so. From my point of view, it is not a good thing, but from the security point of view, it is good. They have a security team and they do what they have to do. So it is good. So it is fortunate. From my point of view, I was not lucky.
Yeah, definitely. I wrote in this article that you mentioned that it was important to find these two leverage points just by doing reconnaissance. You mentioned that it is so important doing reconnaissance, getting to know the target as much as possible. Um, what are your thoughts on this? Do you spend more time doing the reconnaissance than any other part of the shop, or what's your process when getting to know the target?
I think it's a common mistake if you skip this part. So I saw that so many times. So especially nowadays, everybody starts with hack the box, and in hack the box you skip this part, and it is not there. But if you have a real target and you have to do it in the real life, the open source intelligence is a mandatory step, and you should spend time with it, and you should learn how you do that correctly. So if you have enough experience, then you are able to find the information more often or more quickly, or I don't know what is the ratio, but it you can improve yourself in that area, and you must do that. If you think the red teaming in serious way, then you should do that. So you can skip it. And even if if it seems like at the beginning it's not useful, there are too many information or too much data, you should collect and organize them, and later during the engagement you can reuse that information. And sometimes the informational findings, which means nothing, they become more and more important if you are deeper in the network. So if you do something, for example, you should check the jobs that are related to the target company. You should check the LinkedIn. So if they are looking for a Windows administrator, then you know that you need some Windows experience, for example. I know it is a cool example, but I found the firewall rule set with this with a Google search actually. So the internal firewall rule set, I think we can agree on that it is good if you have that before the engagement.
Wow.
So it is important, and you must not skip it. This is my way, and it is so you should follow a circular approach. You should do it multiple times. So if you find something, if you are deeper, maybe you should do it again. It is not a strict. I finished with the open source intelligence part, and then let's move for the, I don't know, penetration, and skip it. You should do that multiple times and reuse the information that you have.
Yeah, sounds a great advice, and I didn't even imagine that you can guess the firewall rules just by a Google search or LinkedIn job. I don't know. That's so cool. Ákos, any question?
Any question? Yeah, I always have questions. Okay, can you see something, or how to say? I would like to ask about whether can you see a kind of evolution of the vulnerabilities in the past few years? I mean, as far as I in the industry, I can see there are more and more complex vulnerabilities and exploits out there, and I'm not too far in the industry. How you see it?
It's a hard question. And I think the systems and the frameworks and everything has become more and more complex. And unfortunately, the developers, the IT guys are using these technologies with less knowledge. They are not understanding what they are doing because it's too complex already. And they build it become more and more complex, and this is probably the reason why these attacks can become more and more complex. But as I see, what was good 10 years ago, it is good nowadays, but in a different form. So somehow the history repeats itself. So I can say that weak passwords is a good example. If you use weak passwords 10 years ago, then you have a problem. Okay, probably everybody use stronger passwords nowadays. But if you check what happened with smart contracts or with the password managers and these kinds of things, you will see that the same thing happened in a different form. So they are using weak passwords or weak tokens or weak MFA or weak something like that. So you got the problem back, but in a different format. And this is what I see. Now, maybe it is just from my bubble.
Mm-hmm. And what are the most common vulnerabilities you see today?
It depends on the area. As I see, web almost everything is web-based nowadays, so it has a web interface. And most common web vulnerabilities, I think it's cross-site scripting. It is one of the best, or access control related things, and business logic errors. So these are the most common things, and there is. It is interesting because if you check how these websites are working, they are using single sign, for example, and I found multiple cases when the single sign mechanism was not configured correctly. So it is not that easy, but it is easy to implement it in a wrong way, and these are with us. And even big companies do this. So it doesn't matter you are a big company, a small one, an experienced developer or not. The problem exists, and probably this is what is happening nowadays. So web vulnerabilities are the most common, and cross-site scripting, I think, is everywhere.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
I have a question. Do you do any of mobile pen testing? I think that's I don't know if that's so common nowadays. I think it depends on the company. If they have a mobile app or something like that, they may use some related team for that. But what do you see? I don't think that there is much training on that either. Well, what do you do you have?
It is strange, and maybe maybe we should start with, it is not easy to create an environment where you are able to test the vulnerabilities. So if you have to do it with Android, if you have to do it with iOS, you need different environments. And the border between the mobile and web apps are not so clear. So there are applications that are basically web apps, just with a little bit mobile magic. Let's say it like that. So you need special environments, and what is working in this month, maybe it will not work in the next update. So it is changing every time. And it's just a simple example. If you would like to proxy an Android device, it is not easy nowadays, I think, because when years ago it was easy. You know what you should click, you know what you should set, and it worked. But now it is more and more challenging. On the jobs part, as I see, there was a peak, and we are beyond that. So it is not so. We do not have enough mobile pen tests, so it is not so popular. I don't know why, because as I see, there are multiple mobile applications, and every company has its own, I don't know, point collecting application, or I don't know. There are a lot of mobile apps nowadays, but somehow um, these mobile tests are not so common. But maybe it is just Hungary related, or we are not lucky enough. But we have a mobile team, so we have a few guys who are working on mobile topics, and I also work on mobile topics. But as I see, it is not that easy. That's my answer.
Yeah, I can kind of think that it took long enough for the pen testing, such as web or network, to expand. So I think mobile will came with his time, right? Maybe in some years it will expand even more.
Yes,
Sometimes
sure.
I believe it's just from lack of shops and lack of training. I don't know. I don't find many information of it related on the internet. So yeah, maybe let's should give it some time to it.
If you find a good mobile testing course, please send it to me, because we are interested in. But as you mentioned, there are not too much information in this area,
Yeah.
I think. And these I think the topic is good. I think the mobile is interesting, and maybe we use these mobile devices instead of our computers or laptops in the long run. We have Thundergon or other mobile devices as well. So maybe it will be useful, but at the moment we do not have too much experience with it. So we have not too much projects. So we have less than web apps. Web apps are the most common, and sometimes we have mobile projects as well. But these mobile projects, most of the cases are hybrid applications or hybrid. This is what I see.
Ákos?
Yeah, this question just came into my mind when you were talking about your finding of the fourth point. So, which was your most stressful penetration testing or any other actions, and how did you manage the stress and pressure?
I don't know. So the, it is funny because when during the test I do not have any problems with it. After that I have. So when I realized what we did and what is the impact of that, after a few days, I have this feeling, but not during the test. Maybe it is special for me, but I enjoy it so much when we are doing it. It is not a problem. But I can say that there was a bunk, and I was able to break in, and in that bunk I was able to do several things. And at some point I must, at the end of the day, actually, I um, I send them where am I and what I did and what are the results, because these are high findings, or these were high findings, and they stopped immediately the test. But I didn't. I was so. Can I say? I just would like to go on. There are possibilities here. I am in the good track, and um, it was not easy to stop. But I understand what happened, and but it was a funny test, and if I can um, tell you the whole story, then you start laughing at some point, because it was extremely funny, because I turned off some cameras internally that are on the network, or that and I chose accidentally the worst camera that I can. So that camera was in a room, and I should know nothing about that room, and I chose it from a list, and I like this name and choose that one, and I was able to log in with default credentials to the administrative interface, and I turned off that camera, and of course it was a problem. So I stopped it, but this is about stress. I think the preparing part is when you are talking with the client and they have no experience with cybersecurity, or they think they have, then it is more stressful than the test itself. So for me, it is challenging to not start laughing sometimes, because they don't. So when you ask a client, hey, what is your solution, what is your architecture, what are you doing exactly, and they are not able to uh, tell you the basic details, then you at some point you start thinking what they do in their company, what they do exactly. So they really do not understand what they're doing, and unfortunately it is true, and it is stressful. These meetings, these kills my brain sometimes.
And the, and
It's-
the
I-
and the debrief, do you find it is stressful when you are like telling them what you found, what exploits you could do? Do you find it stressful? Do you find some situations where clients don't really care about your results, don't really care that you were able to get inside, or do you find something that can be stressful in that part?
Mm, if you are a penetration tester or a hacker, you should learn this. And after a few projects, you will realize mm, some patterns in the behavior. So it is not possible, it is not important. We must do this test because we must do that because of the law or something like that. There is always a story. And when you are in, then it is changing. If you find something, we know that you will find something. We know that there is a problem with these systems, that we do not know that this is a too big problem for us, and so on. So there are patterns, and if you do it, and you can learn it, and you will realize that, you will know that during the project what is happening, and that is funny. In some cases, when you find something, it is a problem, and they would like to fix it immediately. In some cases, they do not understand what is the consequence or what are the outcomes if this exploits or the exploit works, or if you can achieve some code execution. They do not understand, for example, why it is a problem you can execute JavaScript code. And then you should explain them. Even for web developers, it is funny because they say it is not possible to use, for example, these values because the UI, so the user interface, does not accept strings. And when you say, but you can send it with a proxy, for example, that it is not possible because the user interface blocks that, and you should explain them. You should check that on the server side too. And it is funny because I think they should understand better than me how the backend and the client side works exactly. But in some cases, they are focusing only on the features, and this mindset is missing. And it is funny because they say it is not possible, and then you should display it. So if there is a problem or there is some strange behavior, I always record a video as well and I send them because it helps. But there are funny stories and funny um comments. It is not possible because of that, and then show that, hey, I am here, I have the account, and this is the behavior. You can see that it is not possible, and then what should you say for that? So you should learn that, and it is part of the journey. So the technical part is good, but you should handle the people and the management. And if you think that in another way, the testers, the project managers, the developers, everybody's against you. Because if you find something, then it is a mistake or a problem in their work. They should do something before the production, or before finishing the project. They should do additional steps. So in some cases, it's funny, they try to somehow prepare some special environment just for us. So it is not real what we are testing, but they are preparing. This is how we do it with normal employees. But you got this environment, and you are not able to even copy a file with your machine because it's not possible. But it is not realistic. So this you should learn that. This is my experience. There are companies who are who are who they have experience with cybersecurity, and when there are companies, they are newbies, and we are always a magician, and we should show the magic. And when we show that, it is not so easy to understand what we are doing and how we know that, and it is a big thing to explain them and in a correct way, because at the end of the day, it is not important what your vulnerability is. What is important for them, how can they fix it? And in order to fix that, you should explain it in their language, in their mindset, and this is what they are paying money. Even if you are able to break in, but you cannot say that please fix this and this, then it is useless.
So you, as a head of the cyber lab there in KPMG, do you sometimes pick a random one of your guys and take them to this debrief so they learn to deal with the client, or do you have like some ones that are the seniors and you always take the seniors? How do you manage this with
We have seniors as well, and in every project there is a senior, and if there are colleagues with juniors, for example, they are working together, but at the end, always there is a senior who checks the content and the report. So they should learn that. And I think if the best way is to do it, not to read it and check it, because it's you should learn that in your own way and understand. And yes, there will be mistakes, but you can learn from that mistakes, and the seniors are there to help. So if this is one of the most important thing, and in some cases it doesn't matter you are junior or a medior or a senior colleague. In some cases you are right, and everybody in this team should understand that. So if you have an opinion, you should say that, and you should say, I think it is not true, it is not good like this, and the whole thing is improving. And with teaching you can learn a lot. So if you are a mentor for a colleague, then you learn because of the teaching process itself. And this is what we do. This is my view. How should we build up a pen tester team?
Yeah, that's great. And I think there is a phrase that says, "In teaching you will learn, and in learning you will teach." Something like that. That's great.
Yeah, it's
Um, well, I think Ákos had some questions prepared for related to vsociety in specific. Can you get those ones?
No, not too much, but yeah. I think let's start with how did you get involved with the society?
I saw an article in LinkedIn, and it was a vulnerability analysis. And I checked that what is this vsociety Vicarius thing, and it was interesting, and I joined.
And that's all. Okay, sounds
Yeah,
good.
that's all. It was not a. So I participate in several bug bounties, and I as was there are infosec community groups, Discord channels, and so on. And I found that this vsociety is an interesting solution, and it was I don't know, actually maybe it was your article, actually, Ákos, the first one that I saw. I can't remember, but I saw an article and I checked it, and there was an exploit. It was written in Python, and the content was good, and I said, hey, it seems like an interesting topic, and I joined. Let's see what it is. And this is the story. There was a guy, it's called Muhammad, or maybe I am spelling the name in not the correct form, but unfortunately he left the company maybe, and I talked with him first.
So it was, I think, more than a year ago.
Yes, yes.
Okay, what topics have you published on vsociety? And could you just tell us a few words about your latest three-part article, please?
I mentioned already this force pointing. That was the first one, and the force pointing was the starting project. And last October I had some time, and I bought a Mercosys router, and I found multiple vulnerabilities in it. Actually, now three. Two of them are published, and I published it in vsociety in 3 articles. And it is a little bit hardware hacking, firmware hacking, router hacking. This is how can I describe it. And as I see, it is popular because I got several emails, and it was a surprise for me because I have a homepage, and in that page I publish my vulnerabilities and other stuff, so you can find me easily. And the vsociety part was. After I published on vsociety, my site has also additional visitors, so I saw that from the statistics. So
Yeah, it's very popular on the platform, yes. And we do recommend to read through for every everyone who is involved in cybersecurity. It's not a beginner friendly, or at least for me, it was quite comprehensive.
I try to make it beginner friendly, and probably I should do that in a better way, maybe. But so the first article focuses on hardware related things, and then URL shell. And the second part is a firmware analysis, and how can you restore some functionality, how can you understand the internal workings and so on, and try to give you a methodology as well. So if you check that, there is a diagram at the beginning, how can you reach and what is your goal, an overall perspective and so on. And the third one is focusing on a buffer overflow vulnerability related to um, access control list. It is funny because this is the security functionality, and then I always enjoy that when the security feature has the security vulnerability. It's always good.
Sounds cool. Okay, and let me see the last question of mine. So, why and to whom do you recommend vsociety?
I think everybody who is interested in can come, and it's a free place. It is a good thing. There are not. It is similar what my channel is. So there are only the language is different because my part is a Hungarian one, and the vsociety focuses on English. As I see, there are a lot of people from Africa and from other countries, and it is a good way to interact with others. I think it's beginner friendly. So if you do not understand something, you can ask. I think you are at the beginning of this thing because newbies are somehow they would like to ask, but they do not ask. So we should somehow involve them, and they fear, but I don't know why. I think it is a good community, and you can ask, you can check the vulnerabilities, you can check the information, the technical backgrounds. You get nice articles about vulnerabilities, and you can learn a lot. So if you would like to learn, it's a good place. And why it is better than I don't know, another infosec community, because these are real vulnerabilities. So I am against a little bit CTFs because they are unrealistic. And vsociety main benefit. So these vulnerabilities are on real products, on real systems, and in real life. So this is, I think it's a big thing, and this is why I like this approach.
Thank you.
Do you like something special in a specific when writing a post? Do you like that there is the possibility to put code on there, or I don't know? Do you find something that you say like I really like writing posts here because it has this? I don't know.
I think the code snippets are important, and it is possible to reuse them. So if you check, there was an Apache Strats vulnerability, for example, you get a tool at the end, and this tool is useful during a test too. So if you are a pen tester or a hacker and you are in a job, maybe you can reuse these scripts. So you should. You should check, collect, and reuse these codes because these are useful, and that's all I think.
Yeah, perfect. Well, any more questions, Ákos, or?
No. That was all. That was all.
Okay. Well, I have a last one. This is a choosy one, a plus one. I want to ask you about certifications. This is an IT domain where certifications are kind of important. I think at least for HR filters, you know. So and I saw that you have some really good ones. So what's your thoughts on certifications now that you're in a really good level, you know, the head of cyber lab. So do you
Mhm.
really care for them? Do you care for people to have experience?
It is a hard question. If you ask me what is important, there is offensive security in a specific situation. Their certs are recognized and accepted everywhere, so they are in a special position. And I think OSCP is mandatory. If you are thinking seriously in this area, it is mandatory. But if depending on where is your location, these chairs are important. Some chairs are important here, some chairs are important in America, for example, or in the UK. It is different. And the problem is the money part. So if you are a country from, let's say, from a not so rich country, then it is not that easy to collect that money. So $1,000 is not that much money for a cybersecurity specialist in the US. You can pay that. But if you are, for example, in Hungary, it is not that easy. And if you have to pay it multiple times, then it is a problem. And this is what we should focus on. Mm. So I think there is a problem with this. And if you check these certifications, there are, I don't know, there is a sad landscape, and there are too many. So it is not possible to do it. So I think the best, if you are thinking on what you should choose, you should check your area and where you will work, and check the jobs. What they expect, and and you should focus on that. If you choose offensive security, then you should go with that one. If you choose another one, then you should collect those certs. So this is what I recommend. But the certs itself are, for me, there are difference between OSCP people. So there is a guy who has an OSCP in 2018. It not the same when if you get it nowadays, because it changed. And cheating is also a problem. So there are services and guys, they are uh, serve this as a solution for you. So actually they solve the exam and you get everything, and it is a simple cheating. But in paper they are good, but when you are working with them, it is not that good. And I think it is also a problem. So I prefer the proctored exam, so at least some kind of anti-cheating measure is involved. It's important. And I like those certifications when you have to do something and not just clicking or select the correct answer. So this is uh, this is what is, I think, important. But I think it is different in. So I have friends in America, and OSCP is a beginner cert there. This is funny because in the other part of the world it is not beginner. And if you think what is a beginner level, I am not sure is this a beginner level cert. But it depends on how good you are. And if you check these certifications, you will see that they are changing. Um, they are focusing in some areas, and nowadays the Active Directory and red teaming are the most important things, but I think we lose other knowledge because everybody is focusing in that part. And if you are try to find a guy with SAP pen testing, for example, then you will find not too much. And but I think it's important to so it, the landscape, the certification landscape is not easy. If you have enough money, you can buy these certifications, or you have the chance to do that. But I think if you need a guy or a new pen tester, you should prepare mm, an exam for them, a special one for your needs. And with that, you are able to recognize, is this member or candidate good or fits for you or not. Just based on the certification, it's not that easy. So I can say good pen testers without certification, I have the opposite. A lot of certification, and but I do not want to work with them.
Well, that's great. Yeah, I think that's the end. I think we don't have more questions. Ákos, that's it, right?
No. That was all, as I said.
Well, I think that was amazing. You gave a lot of insights, a lot of interesting topics we talk about. So, and I have nothing more to say, nothing else to say than thanks. I'm really thankful for you.